The best way to meet that need is if you find something that you're truly good at. Life's purpose. If you're finding something that you enjoy. It's a lot more complicated than that, obviously, but it can be simple. Low self-esteem, where did it come from? It starts with the, what they call the prison religions, or the Yahwist religions. I am the Lord thy God. You're worth nothing until proven innocent. They do the same thing. If you read the papers in Britain, you could be a tax evader. I'm pretty sure you are. Can you prove that you're not? Can you prove a negative? Why do you think we have that in the United States? Proven innocent until proven guilty. I mean, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. Not that it always works that way in truth, but it should. But in Europe, I found this a lot, particularly in Germany. Essentially, you're a suspect until you show me otherwise. But you can't prove a goddamn negative. It's impossible. Can you? I'm pretty sure you have weapons of mass distraction somewhere in your closet. You don't? Well, prove it then. See, I thought so. I knew it. That's what happens. One feminist said, every sexual act between a man and a woman is rape. That's how far it's gone, my friends. That's how deep some of these guys go, or girls, or I don't know if they're girls or something. I mean, I hate Rush Limbaugh, I truly do. You probably don't know who that is, but it's kind of like a weird guy in the U.S. And but the one good thing he ever said, the one term that he coined that I really love is feminazi. In Germany, that's illegal to say. I have to bleep it out of the videos. But here, I think I can. Ever met a feminazi? Typical man. You're looking at me the wrong way, huh? I said, no, I'm looking at you, period. But never mind, I already regret the stupid thought of wanting to meet you. No. Thank you for bringing that up so soon in the relationship. There's no relationship. No, you're right, there isn't. Ever had that fundamental sense of wrongness that society kind of imposes, religion imposes, all these different institutions of society impose? Well, that's one of the problems. That's a big problem. And it runs, I don't want to offend anyone's religious beliefs here, but in the Eastern religions, we don't have that so much. Especially in Buddhism and Taoism, there is no such thing as guilt. Guilty until proven innocent. Yes, fundamentally, you're born into sin because some girl some time ago ate an apple. And that's why we still have that cutout piece in the MacBook, probably. But that condemns you to eternal sin. There's priests, televangelists in the U.S. telling people, look, you know, you're condemned to hell, hellfire, absolute torture for 1 billion years. And if a baby doesn't get baptized in time before it dies, it'll go to hell because it's born into original sin. That's what I call a prison religion. Has nothing to do, I don't want to offend your beliefs. I don't care if you're Jew, Muslim, Christian, whatever. But just be aware of how that's seeped in. I mean, the God that I believe in, like Bono said, isn't short of cash, mister, but he's also not cruel. The whole idea that your worth, your self-worth, has to be earned, that you're wrong, born into sin, guilt. There's always something wrong until you do something to make it right. Your default state is guilt, sin. As long as you have that, as long as you don't exercise that, find what it is and exercise it, you'll always feel fundamentally wrong. And then everything you do will be wrong until you make it right. What does your self-worth depend on? Where does it come from, self-worth? Come from some external source? Why do you think it's called self-worth? Where does it come from? It comes from the self. And then, oh, that means you're selfish, egocentric, self-absorbed, ego. No, that's all compensation, coping strategies for low self-esteem. That's not, you can't have too much self-esteem. The great psychologist and, I guess, educator of humanity, Nathaniel Branden, who would be a great guy to come here to speak, he always said that was the immune system of your soul. of your psyche. You can't have too much of it. That's like, oh, you're too healthy. You can't be too healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. People say, oh, but that guy is like so arrogant. Well, arrogant is what? Arrogance is what? It's compensation for low self-esteem. Posing, bragging, I'm the alpha male of the group. I don't need to say hi to women. That's low self-esteem in action, for Christ's sake. All that shit is low self-esteem. Because somebody who has high self-esteem and knows his worth will not need to do these stupid things. You won't have to impress a woman. You'll just sit there. You don't need to think of I'm not saying you don't need any outer game. Sure, you need to be playful and do all that, but even that springs automatically from a sense of self-worth. But what does that self-worth depend on? Again, religion and the systems, the elite schools, they tell people, if you're working less than 75 hours a week, you're what's the word they use? You're basically a useless eater and breather. That's the basics of these schools. Like, I'm not even talking about Harvard and Yale. I'm talking about these elite business schools where you get your MBA, so you can be a banker and then get paid boni, so you shut up, how you screw people. That's what people do who have low self-esteem. Like, pickup is like, oh, I can't get it any other way. I need to resort to tricks. You won't like me for who I am. She won't like you for who you are. Not as long as you don't like yourself. And what does it depend on? Default mode is you come to this earth, you're like an empty vessel, born into sin, essentially condemned to hell unless you sort of redeem yourself some way. And it's all about, we talk about this in the U.S. He's worth $10 million. Well, he's worth $1 million. That means that guy is worth 10 times as much as that guy. That's his value as a human being. Well, maybe as a human doing.